Welcome to This Week's Okay at Work with myself, Sarah Sawyer, and my colleague, Russell Berger, both attorneys at Offit Kurman. And today we are talking about pre-litigation letters. So often we talk about on here litigation. We've had a couple of episodes recently this year about just the challenges of litigation, some of the goals around that, some of the strategies, how different litigation matters are all different and how you might approach them. But a lot of times before you're ever getting to litigation, just given the cost and the time commitment and the challenge and the adversarial process and all of the stress and terrible things that come along with that, you try to make some good faith efforts to try to resolve the matter beforehand. So I know we get involved a lot with sending, people sometimes refer to this as a lawyer letter to people. So I know sometimes I'll have clients ask me, can I have you write a lawyer letter? So what is a lawyer letter, Russell, and how are they used?
Yeah, so I'll give you a lawyer answer is it depends. There are many kinds and many flavors of lawyer letters. So if you're on the path towards litigation or you have a big conflict, the first thing I want to say is that there are times where maybe you just go straight to court and you don't pit stop at the lawyer letter. And again, like that's very case and matter specific. Or if you're on the defense side, you've already been sued. There isn't really a time for that. But when we talk about lawyer letters, what we're talking about are things like demand letters, cease and desist letters. And the main gist of it is if you don't do what I'm asking, I'm going to have to go to court. I have no other option, but I'm willing to try to work something out before we get there. But if we don't get there on my terms, then I'm going forward. When we talk about it in the terms of the cease and desist, it's you're violating this agreement, you're competing, you're soliciting, whatever it is, and you must stop. And maybe you must make me whole for the damage that you've already done. And if you don't, I'm going to go to court and try to get injunctive relief or pursue my damages, whatever the right remedy is. Slightly differently, the demand letter is more reactive, right? Whatever the bad thing is has already happened. There isn't an ongoing issue. It's, look, you did this, you harmed me, I'm owed X, pay me X, or I'm going to file suit.
Yeah. Demand, usually you're saying, I want something, I need this money, whatever this is. Cease and desist also can be a shot across the bow, right? To say, I'm watching you. Sometimes it's a good first step if you're still in the investigation stage as well of trying to figure out if there is something to litigate over. For instance, in the context of defamation, where it's, all right, I think that they're doing something and causing me harm, and I've got some good evidence that this might be happening. I'm still looking into it. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on, whether I want to litigate over it. But in the meantime, I want them to know I'm looking into this because I want them to stop their behavior. So there still may be litigation, but it can serve to mitigate damage as well.
Yeah, particularly on the cease and desist side, where there is an ongoing harm, part of the reason you send that letter is to stop the ongoing harm, to change behavior. And so while there may be other aspects to it, one of the wins that you can get, and you don't usually get a letter back saying, oh, I agree with you, I'll stop doing that. But you might get someone to think that and to change their behavior. And even though they might say, I disagree, I'm going to fight with you, I'm not going to pay you anything. If the harm stops, if the unlawful solicitation or the trademark infringement or whatever it is stops, then you've accomplished a big part of your goal already and you're out of the game.
Yeah, and it's also a way to engage with the other side. So sometimes they might have a lawyer and they might engage back with you, whether it be a demand or a cease and desist. It might actually lead to some additional information as well, because you might say, yeah, you put some information out there, you might get some in return. Because if they've got an attorney, they'll connect you potentially and say, oh, hey, here's our position. I'm yet to have someone say, oh, I'm so sorry. Exactly what she said. I agree with you. My bad. That's rare. Sometimes you get a little bit of a version of that, but you will get more insight into what they're thinking. They're not going to be completely candid with you, but they will at least mount a position often and respond. And that at least gets you a little bit further the way in understanding what's going on.
Like we often say, it is a strategic tool at your disposal when you're in these conflict situations. So it's definitely something worth considering, worth thinking about, and worth assessing how it might help you in a given conflict.
Yeah. Thanks, Russell. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Sarah.